The subway car is dead silent, packed with grin-faced passengers. A baby lets out a single cry. The sound sends everyone into a sudden panic. A man suddenly stands up and snatches the baby from its mother's arms. He is ready to toss the infant right out of the car. Instead of stopping him, the other passengers block the mother from chasing after him. They only let go once she agrees to get off the train with her child. The man hands the baby back to her. He immediately throws open the doors and kicks them both out, holding her baby tight. The mother stares ahead in pure terror. With everyone watching coldly, she walks into the darkness, trembling with every step. Suddenly, the baby's pacifier drops to the ground. In an instant, a blood-curdling scream echoes through the dark tunnel. The woman tries to run back in desperation, but it's already too late. It turns out that not long ago, an expedition team discovered an ancient cave. They accidentally woke up a swarm of prehistoric creatures called vesks. These monsters are bloodthirsty and immediately devoured the entire team. Swarms of vesks then burst onto the surface and began attacking crowded cities. It's 3 a.m. An ally is jolted awake by her mother, Kelly. When she reaches the living room, she finds her family huddled anxiously around the TV. The news is broadcasting an emergency alert. The terrifying vesks are raiding the town, leaving bodies everywhere they go. The footage on screen is nightmare fuel. One family is shown trapped in their car, surrounded by the monster's screeches. Before dying, a woman warns everyone, "Don't make a single sound." The news anchors plead for everyone to stay indoors. Suddenly, a loud noise rumbles overhead as military helicopters fly by. Ally's father, Hugh, senses that things are going south fast. He tells everyone to silence their phones and lock the doors and windows. They plan to stay put and wait for rescue. But Hugh's best friend, Glenn, refuses to be a sitting duck. He suggests packing up and getting out of there immediately. If noise is the enemy, a crowded city is the most dangerous place to be. The family agrees it makes sense and quickly packs their bags. They head for the countryside to find safety. As they hit the highway, they see countless vesks circling over the city from a distance. Inside the city, all hell has broken loose. Since it's a long journey, they stop at a gas station to fuel up. In the middle of the apocalypse, there are always people looking to take advantage of the chaos. A man suddenly appears with a gun and demands their car keys. Luckily, Glenn came prepared. He shoots the man in the thigh, immediately shutting him down. The wounded man loses his tough guy act and begs for help. He knows that if the monsters show up, he's a dead man, but Glenn has no intention of saving him. He just takes the man's weapon and leaves. The family drives toward the edge of town until dawn. They soon find the road ahead completely blocked by traffic. The highway is a graveyard of cars filled with people trying to escape. Seeing the gridlock, Glenn decides to change the route and take a mountain path. Suddenly, a herd of deer dashes across the road. Glenn loses control of his car and tumbles down a steep slope. Hugh and Kelly rush down to help. The car is a total wreck, and Glenn is pinned inside. Unable to move, Hugh tries to pull the door open, but it won't budge. Kelly tries to call for help, but there's no signal. In this new world, help isn't coming. Hugh tries to use a crowbar to pry the door open, but the metal is too deformed. Not wanting to be a burden, Glenn points his gun at his old friend. He forces Hugh to take his family and run. Hugh knows they can't stay there forever, but he refuses to give up. He tells Glenn he's going to find cutting tools to get him out. He has no choice but to leave his friend behind for now. The moment they get back into the car, their dog Otis senses danger. He starts barking like crazy at the empty air. Ally feels something is wrong and tells her dad to kill the engine, just as Hugh wonders why. A vesk slams into the car. Otis doesn't stop barking, attracting even more of them. The monsters bash against the car, cracking the windshield. In seconds, the roof is covered in swarming vesks. They're about to break in when gunshots ring out. Glenn knows they're in trouble and decides to sacrifice himself. He draws the swarm toward him and is quickly killed. But Otis is still barking uncontrollably. To save his family, Hugh has to make a gut-wrenching choice. He lets Otis out of the car and watches him run away. A moment later, the dog's tragic cries echo from the dark woods. Finally, everything goes quiet again. Hugh signals everyone to stay silent as he creeps out of the car. He needs to see if the monsters are really gone. Suddenly, Grandma Lynn has an asthma attack and starts coughing. Kelly rushes to give her the inhaler, but the noise already draws a vesp. Hugh looks at the vesp on the roof, then at a wrench on the ground. He has a theory he wants to test. The monster is facing him, but it doesn't attack. It seems to have no eyes and relies entirely on sound. Hugh backs away slowly and reaches for the wrench. He hurls it as far as he can. The vesp lunges at the sound and pecks at the metal, realizing it's not food. The creature flies away. Hugh was right. They are blind but have incredible hearing. He gets back in the car and shares the news with the family. This discovery is actually a huge advantage for them, since Ally lost her hearing in an accident. The whole family knows sign language. They are already experts at living in silence. Hugh goes to check on Glenn but finds him torn to pieces. He decides to set Glenn's leaking car on fire. The explosion draws every vesp in the area toward the noise. The family uses the distraction to escape on foot. Before dark, Hugh spots a fenced-in house through his binoculars. They decide to head there for the night. The lights are on, so someone must be home. The gate is locked. but when Hugh pushes it, bells start ringing. The sound attracts a vesp, forcing the family to dive for cover. An old woman comes out with a shotgun, yelling at them to leave. She clearly doesn't realize the world has been taken over. A second later, the vesps swarm her. Her shotgun is useless as she is buried under the monsters. The family watches the brutal scene in horror. Then, they find a sewer pipe that leads into the yard. To stay safe, Hugh decides to scout the area first. He has no idea there's a rattlesnake hiding inside the drainage pipe. After making it into the yard, Hugh finds the house empty. There is plenty of food left on the dining table. He signals for the rest of the family to hurry inside. Kelly lets her young son, Jude, go first while she covers the rear. Not long after entering the pipe, Jude spots the snake. The snake rattles its tail, ready to strike, but it doesn't realize it has also become someone else's prey. A vesp is drawn to the sound and devours the rattlesnake in one bite. At the same time, a vesp bites Kelly's leg at the back of a line. She struggles desperately, but it's no use. Just as the whole family is about to be swarmed, the vesps suddenly stop. It turns out Hugh realized they were in trouble and turned on a massive wood chipper. The loud roar draws all the vesps toward the noise. The dumb creatures fly blindly into the machine and are shredded to bits. With the crisis over, Hugh and Lynn help the injured Kelly into the house. She is in a lot of pain, and the wound looks nasty. When they cut open her pant leg, they see her skin is torn apart. Ally finds some alcohol and cotton to clean the wound. By the next day, Kelly's leg isn't getting any better. Without antibiotics, the infection is spreading. They have to find medicine, or Kelly won't last more than a few days. Hugh has no choice but to take Ally on a risky supply run. When they step outside, they see power lines covered in swarms of vesps. One wrong move and they'll be eaten alive in seconds. The father and daughter reach a nearby town that has clearly fallen. Bloody cars are scattered across the streets. They successfully find a pharmacy, but danger is lurking. A mysterious man is watching them from the shadows. Inside the store, a pungent smell hits them immediately. Several mangled corpses lie on the floor. While they search for antibiotics, the mysterious man follows them inside. Hugh finds the medicine, but Ally notices something moving under a body. She curiously lifts the clothing and finds dozens of vesp eggs. Every corpse is stuffed with these eggs. Just then, a hatchling tries to break out. The moment it pierces the skin, fluid splashes all over Ally's face. The noise quickly attracts adult vesps. 3 vesps perch on the shelves. Searching for the pair, they spread their wings to catch the slightest sound. The father and daughter don't dare to move. Ally spots the fire sprinklers on the ceiling and gets an idea. She signs her plan to Hugh. Ally triggers the sprinkler system at the perfect moment. The chaotic noise sends the vesps flying around like headless chickens. The two of them use the distraction to slip out of the pharmacy, but as they hit the street, the mysterious man blocks their path. He holds up his hands to show he isn't a threat. To stay safe, Hugh tries to avoid contact and walk away, but the man stops them and pulls a notebook from his bag. He writes down his message. The man calls himself the Reverend. The Reverend is the leader of a doomsday cult known as the Hushed. This cult believes the vesps are divine messengers sent by God to purge the world of its sins. The Reverend tries to recruit Hugh and Ally to join them. They refuse immediately and walk away. However, they have no idea that the Reverend has no tongue. To show their devotion and ensure absolute silence, every member of the cult has voluntarily cut out their own tongue. Back at the house, Kelly's condition improves thanks to the antibiotics. Ally hears some good news on an underground CNN broadcast. It turns out the vesps are terrified of the cold. People in the Arctic Circle haven't been attacked at all. It looks like heading north is their only hope to survive the disaster. But before they can move, they spot the Reverend through the window. He has arrived at their doorstep with a group of followers. Hugh has no choice but to go outside to deal with him. The Reverend's goal is clear. He wants the family to join his cult. Even though Hugh repeatedly refuses, the Reverend won't take no for an answer. The Reverend stares at Ally and writes down a chilling sentence. The girl is fertile. This sends Hugh into a total rage. He storms back inside and comes out with a gun to threaten them. The Reverend doesn't look worried at all. He knows Hugh is afraid to shoot because the noise will attract the monsters. If he fires, they all go down together, but he underestimates Hugh's resolve to protect his family. To Hugh, these psychos are scarier than any monster. The Reverend backs off but opens his mouth to show his missing tongue. The sight absolutely disgusts the family. Finally, the cultists leave, but the Reverend flashes a wicked smirk. It's clear they aren't going to give up that easily. Sure enough, in the dead of night, thunder and lightning crash outside. Hugh wakes up with a bad feeling and quickly rouses his family. He peeks through the curtain and sees a young girl standing there. After a brief hesitation, the kind family brings her inside. They notice her face is covered in bruises. She won't answer any of their questions. Hugh pries her mouth open and finds she has no tongue. She is one of the Hushed. While Hugh questions her, the girl looks down at her stomach. They pull back her clothes and find phones taped all over her body. At the same time, Ally spots a phone taped to the outside of the window. While she's still processing this, an alarm starts blaring. The noise draws a vesp right to the house. The girl panics at the sound of the impact and hides behind the sofa. When they try to grab her, the phones on her body start ringing too. Several monsters smash through the bedroom windows. Ally rushes to slam the doors shut to contain them. They finally rip the phones off the girl and toss them into water. The Vesps outside finally stop their attack. But just as they catch their breath, another phone rings inside. The Vesps go into a frenzy again. A cultist smashes a window and throws another ringing phone inside. Hugh tells his family to run to the basement for safety. He and Jude try to block the broken windows, but the cult members use the chaos to sneak into the house. Their objective is clear. They want to kidnap the young, fertile ally to help repopulate their twisted cult. Seeing Kelly down, Lynn doesn't hesitate to charge in. She grabs two of the cultists in a death grip. This gives Ally the chance to break free. One man tries to chase her, but Lynn pins his leg down. Once she sees Ally is safe, she decides to finish the job. She lets out a piercing scream to draw the monsters in. The Vesps swarm her, and she sacrifices herself to take the cultists down with her. Before they can even mourn, the Reverend snatches Ally from the shadows. As he leaves, he mockingly reminds them to stay silent. Hugh is fuming with rage but knows he can't move carelessly. Suddenly, he realizes the deafening thunder is confusing the Vesps' hearing. He leads his family in a desperate charge to save Ally. Hugh lands a massive punch on the Reverend and pins him to the ground with the butt of his gun. He pulled out a small knife and stabbed Hugh in the waist. Ally picks up a heavy stone and smashes it over a man's head. Kelly gets back up and finishes him off with a knife. On the other side, Hugh beats the Reverend to death without a second thought. To survive the end of the world, you have to be tougher than the villains, but you also have to hold onto a shred of humanity. They see a mother and daughter from the cult nearby but decide to show mercy. The family turns and leaves them behind. To escape the Vesps for good, they begin their long journey again. They trek all the way to the frozen north. After a grueling trip, they finally reach a sanctuary for survivors. No one knows if the Vesps will evolve to survive the cold, but humans have been evolving since the dawn of time. We are ready to adapt to this silent new world.